So hi everybody, my name's Crystal and welcome to my first makeup tutorial for the Redheads group. Please bear with me because this is my first tutorial ever and something I've never done before. So to start with, I'm going to do an ultra natural daytime look for us redheads. And me, unlike most redheads, I tan naturally. Actually, I'm half Italian, so as you may or may not be able to tell, I'm pretty brown to begin with. So the colors that I'll be using for foundation and stuff like that obviously can be adjusted for your skin tone, lighter for pale people, and no bronzer usually for people that aren't naturally tanned. Although I do find that freckled people can use a bronzer as the freckles kind of come together in the summer and you look brown anyways. So to start, I have a completely bare face. As you can see, I have minimal to no eyebrows naturally. I do groom them into nice thin strips just so they are ready to put on some eyebrow makeup and stuff. So to begin with, I usually use L'Oreal Magic Perfecting Base. And what it is, it's an all-over base that will hold your makeup in, and it's just a pink cream like this. And you just apply it with your fingers all over your face. Make sure to get all the edges and down your chin, because when you do your cover up, you really want to go down your chin so everything blends really well, and it will just keep your concealer and your cover up on all day. Like, I mean, 24 hours. You can go to the bar, drink, and it will stay on all through that, even through sleep. The next day you'll have to have a putty knife to get your makeup off. It's so good. And it retails for about $18, which is super inexpensive, and it works really, really good. So we start with that and we put it all over our face and rub it in. A lot of makeup techniques I use are just with these fingers, mainly because I'm not a rich person and I don't shop at Sephora. Most stuff I get is from Walmart and Shoppers Drug Mart. And honestly, if you learn how to apply it really well, it can work really good. So after we have our base on, as you can see, it just blends in to your natural skin. There's no residue and it kind of mattifies and takes away any shine. So after that, I start with my corrector kit. The one that I use is L'Oreal's Infallible Total Cover Corrector Kit. And as you can see, there's 4 different colors. And even if you don't know what they're for, on the back, it tells you exactly what they're for. So it's like a no fuss, no muss. You can't screw it up. They'll walk you through it. What I use to apply it with is a foundation brush, again, from Walmart, $2, an e.l.f. brush. It's really good to have a foundation brush for the correctors, I find, because it really gets into the corners and it blends them really well, because you'll do this under your cover-up. So I usually start with the green. Now, green covers red spots. As you can see, I have a few blemishes. So I just go ahead and put on the green, blend it a little bit with my fingers, just like that. Usually on the cracks of my nose, because I always have some redness there. Gingers oftentimes will have a lot of red spots and discolored skin, especially if they don't have freckles. Now, the freckle people do have it too, but it just blends in more well because we have the freckles. So I just take the little few red spots, the few blemishes, and I just blend them out with the brush and the green. And as you can see, you can barely see the green, really. But it's going to go under your cover-up anyway, so you won't notice it after. Okay, after I'm done with the green, I don't usually use the purple highlight, only because I find that contour on gingers, people with freckles, it doesn't really work that well. It ends up looking like a big shadow on your face, and so I don't like to do the cheek and forehead contour for that reason. It's really hard to find a color that blends with freckles and your underskin. So next I go in with the yellow right here, and that's to get rid of the dark circles that I have under my eyes. A lot of people have them, especially people with freckles. We get deep dark circles under our eyes. So we go ahead with the yellow and we go in and we blend it. We blend it with the brush as much as you can and get it all around your eye. You want to get right underneath, right in the corner, all around, all by the shape of your nose and up to your eyebrow, and really get that area nice and yellowed in. Also blend, blend, blend. I cannot say enough about blending. You must blend all your makeup. There we go. So as you can see, this eye's done with the yellow corrector, and this eye's not. And you can see the difference big time. So I'll go ahead and do the other eye. Okay, so that now that that is corrected, and you can see my eyes a little bit bright, I go in with this natural skin color corrector, and I go over the areas where I put the yellow. And that kind of evens them out and gives them like a more natural skin tone in preparation for your liquid concealer. And there, it's just that easy. You can see my eyes are really, really bright, but this is all going to come together once you start putting on the liquid cover-up. So to put on liquid cover-up, which I'm using in this tutorial, in other tutorials I will use like a cream-based foundation and a few other different techniques. But for this one, we're going to use a liquid cover-up. The one that I absolutely adore, and it's under $20 again at Walmart, is L'Oreal Infallible. I've often said that the best drugstore brands for cheap is L'Oreal. I wouldn't buy Maybelline. I wouldn't buy Revlon. L'Oreal is the way to go. So go ahead and give it a shake. Like I said, I like to apply mine with my fingers. So that's exactly what I do. I pour about yay much, about a quarter size, a nice big glob. And I go ahead and I start on my forehead and I go down by my cheekbones, up under here, down straight on my T-zone. And then just blend all over. Make sure to get under your neck and up by your ears because that's most important. Over by your hairline, things like that. Now, if you're noticing, I'm not putting it under my eyes right now because I like to get the entire base of my face nice and even, like I said, all down your neck so everything blends, and I still have my eyes done. I like to do the eyes separate because, like I said before, I have really bad black circles, so I like to get a little bit of extra coverage. I just put a tiny amount on here, and I go in on my eye. One eye at a time, and I blend it up to the eyebrow, over by the nose, under by where I put the other cover up originally. As you can see, that's nice and blended out, so I'll do the other eye. Making sure I have everything nice and blended together. There's no weird lines. Everything looks smooth and nice. And there, that's it. That's my cover up. Now, when you want to set your cover up, normally, if it wasn't summertime and it was winter, first of all, I'd be using 1 or 2 shades lighter. I always have 2 foundations. Like I said, I tan. So this would be my summer one. It's a darker one. In the winter, I do go back to more of an ivory, or it's like a nude natural color. So normally I would use Physicians Formula Warm Beige Mosaic palette. This would be my all over powder to set my foundation. But because it's summer, and like I said, I'm pretty tan, I use Physicians Formula Bronze Booster Bronzing Powder. And I use a big old fluffy brush like this, which I think I paid $3 at Walmart for it too. And just go ahead and round the palette, making sure to blow off my brush so there's not a big chunk of it anywhere. And I just go all over. And just go all over to blend and set your foundation. Now, you can also use a translucent powder, which sometimes I use in the winter time, or if I'm using a cream foundation, I like to use a translucent powder. But for liquid foundation, I find that bronze if you're tan, and just like a pale mosaic, Physicians Formula makes really, really good mosaics. So now that I have all my foundation set, I do want to put a little bit of a highlight on my cheek. So normally without the tan, I would be using this Physicians Formula Mosaic. And I'm not sure which one it is because the thing is ripped off, but it's available at Walmart and you can find them. And this is a highlight. It's a cheek highlight. And this I would normally use up here on the apples as a blush, basically. Round on the apples and up towards your hairline, just like this. Because it's summertime, I'm actually going to use the bronzer again. Go ahead and get a nice thick thing on there. Blow and use the bronzer just in these concentrated areas. And you will get a nice good shine highlight. So just like that, and just like that, my foundation and my base for my face is done. So next, usually I go wash my hands, but for this tutorial I won't. So you have nice clean hands to work with and they're not all gummy. So the next thing I do would be brush and shape my eyebrows in preparation to put eyeshadow on underneath them. So I just use a tiny little eyeshadow brush like this and just brush them and get them into shape the way you're going to want them when you do your fill-in for them. Just like that. And so everything's cleaned up and nice. So next, because I have super thin lips, I actually use a No Thin Lips plumper. These are available. You can find them online. This one I got at Shoppers Drug Mart. It was about $40. They're between $30 and $60 online, but totally worth it. They sting a little bit because what they're doing is plumping your lips. And so I apply that next. Because it needs time to set and dry before you put on your lipstick. So while I'm doing everything else, that's setting and plumping my lips. It takes about 3 to 6 minutes. Some people say they notice a difference, others don't. I personally do notice a difference, and I like how it looks. It makes my lips like just a little bit fatter. Okay, so next we're going to do eyeshadow. I wanted to do for this tutorial a really natural look. So I have a few palettes here that I use. The first one is Naked 2 by Urban Decay. And this palette is kind of expensive, but you can find them around. Sometimes there's guys walking on the street and they're selling makeup for cheap. And this one I got for $20. And it's a super nice, naturally colored palette, and I really like it. I use it a lot. I use a lot of the colors a lot. There's a lot of really good nudes in there, which are redhead's best friend. But for today's tutorial, I'm actually going to use my Kylie Kai shadow. As much as I hate Kylie Jenner, the girl makes awesome makeup. So my mom bought me that for Christmas. I understand they're around $45, which is quite expensive. But let me tell you, this eyeshadow is really excellent. If you're going to invest in some good eyeshadow or even good lipstick, I would recommend Kylie Jenner. I hate her, but I'd recommend her makeup because it's really, really good. This is the bronze palette. So there's a lot of natural colors in it, and they're like very, very concentrated. They're very pigmented. They go on super easy and they stay on forever. So Kylie's eyeshadows don't come with a brush. I have a palette of brushes that I have in my case. And to be honest with you, all of these brushes, none of them cost me more than $2. I buy them at Walmart. And I replace them about every 6 months. But for $2 a brush, you really can do that. And then you don't have to worry about cleaning and mold and everything else in your brushes, because brushes can get moldy and you should really replace them. So the first thing I'm going to start with is this supernatural color, this like pinkish, nudish color. And I'm going to apply it all over my lid. All over my lid and all the way up to the moon part of your eye. That's my technical term for it because I'm not a makeup artist, so that's what we call it. Right there, just leaving a thin line right under your brow. So that's going to be the all-over base color for the eyeshadow, just like that. And I'm going to do it to the other eye. And for the base color, I usually like to use a perfectly round brush, just like that, because you're doing an all-over color. So now the next thing I do is I go in with an angled brush that I keep for highlight. So it's an angled brush like this, and I keep it for highlight. Now for the highlight, I'm going to go back to the Naked palette, and I'm going to use this sparkly. It's almost, it almost looks on camera, it almost looks like the same color, but it's not. It has a sparkle in it. The one that I used for the all over in the Kylie palette was just a flat. This one has a sparkle, and so I use it for a highlight underneath my eyebrows. So just go ahead and get that on your brush. Blow, so you don't have any residual, and it just goes right under your eyebrow, and then a little bit thicker towards the edge. So you want nice and thin, and then nice and thick, and make sure both are blended well. And it's just going to give you this really nice sparkle under your eye, under your eyebrow. So just like this. And it's very subtle, but once you have everything together, it will look so nice. Okay, so back to the Kylie palette. Now I'm going to do the contour of my eyeshadow. And it's super easy way to do your contour is to actually just follow your natural eye line. So for today, I think we'll do, trying to decide. I think I'm going to do this nice taupe color because I want to do a really natural day color. So I'm going to use this kind of suede looking color right here. And so I'm going to go ahead and use an angled brush that I use. Not the same one for the highlight. I like to keep the highlight brush clean so that it's always so nice and bright under there and you're not mixing colors. So go ahead and put that on your brush and blow. And then what I do is I just take a piece of Kleenex and I put it up under here, under my eye. And here's what you do. So you take the small end of the angle and you push it up into this corner and just let your eyelid push it where it wants to be. Let your eyelid push it, and you only go halfway, and you just let your eyelid do the work. So you don't even really have to make a shape. You just let your eyelid guide it, and it will go into a perfect half moon on your eye. So now I'm going to do the other one. And as you can see on here, that's what I'm keeping from going onto my foundation. So I just fold it over to get a clean side, and I do the exact same thing on the other side, and you just let your eye shape where it's going to be. And it's super easy, and you just want to get it right in that crease, and you're going to find you're just going to be like working it into that little crease. Once you do it on your own face, you're going to be able to feel exactly where it is. So one's a little bit darker, so just go in and make the other one as dark, again, following that line. And there, just like that, I have a highlight on the side of my eyes. So that's it for the eyeshadow for the natural day look. Now, the next thing that I like to do is the dreaded eyebrows. So a lot of you guys don't have eyebrows just like me. And to be honest with you, it took years and years to be able to get my eyebrows the way I wanted them. So don't be frustrated if you don't get it the first time. You will get it eventually. I use a few different eyebrow products depending on what I'm doing. For a daytime look, I'm in love with this Cella Tantalizing Taupe Eyebrow Cream. It has two ends to it, and it actually came in a friend of mine's Ipsy Glam bag. And she gave it to me, and I absolutely adore it. So you take off the one end, and it's a little pot with the colored ink that's going to go on your eyebrow. When you take out the other end, it's the angled brush. Now, I often use the side of my hands when I'm trying to get a good blend. So I go ahead and wipe off the brush a little bit just because it gets kind of gummy. It's more like, I don't know what I say. It's like a clay almost that goes on. So it kind of hardens your brush. Now, as you can see, the brush is actually angled almost into the shape of an eyebrow. So you go ahead and you dig in the pot and you get some out. And like I said, I use my wrist or my hand here to get out all the chunks and make it nice and smooth on the brush. So it's nice and smooth on the brush. The brush has got the good shape and it's got the ink. So here's what you do. You hold the brush like this in the shape that you want your eyebrow, and you let the brush do the shape. And you just go like this. And you apply it, and you get that shape at first, and then you turn the brush to where the thin part is, and you go ahead and you fill in the rest of the brow. Just like that. And you, like I said, you let the brush do the shape. And that way you don't have to fuss around with what kind of shape you want, or you have to be a good artist to draw it. And just like that, you have an eyebrow. Sweet. Always better to have eyebrows. Eyebrows can actually change the shape of your face just like that. So now that I have one done, I go ahead and into the pot, get more gook on. I like to call it gook because it's like putty almost. And I go ahead and shape it and get all the residual off onto my hand. And then I go ahead and let the angle do the work. Matching the other brow. All the way up. And then to the skinny part around. Just like that, I have brows. Perfect. Boom. Eyebrows. So, like I said, you're gonna do this a few times and your eyebrows are gonna look retarded. It's taken me like 10 years to be able to do good eyebrows, so don't be frustrated. It's just practice. Makeup is just practice, practice, practice. So now that the eyebrows are done, I'm going to do a little bit of eyeliner. This is a daytime look, so normally I wouldn't put on black eyeliner in the daytime, but for this tutorial, I thought I better do everything. So I'm going to go ahead with the black eyeliner. I'm just going to do a super thin line and a tiny, tiny cat eye. I'm using Revlon Colorstay liquid liner in the pot. This is my favorite one to use. I find it really easy to use. I don't like the pen ones. I don't feel like you have as much control. So this is the one I use. And what I do is it looks like a super felt tip, but the felt tip is very flexible. It's not stiff like the pen ones. And that's why I like it to be flexible, more like a paintbrush. So I just go ahead and pull my lid and draw my line nice and thin. A lot of people go one way with their eyeliner. I go both ways, only because I've done it for so many years. So as you can see, that's how it looks in the base. And then you just go ahead and draw out the line. And then you want to fill it in at the side to make sure it's black, because your eyes are a bit, if your eyes are like mine, they're a bit thicker towards this way. As you can see, I got a little bit underneath, and that's okay. Choose a Q-tip or a little piece of tissue and mop it up, because it's liquid liner and it will spread. So normally I would use a Q-tip, but I didn't bring any, so I go ahead and wet it a little bit and clean it up. Just like that. And it's cleaned up. And as you can see, I have a nice little cat eye at the end, and it goes all the way in. Now we're going to fill the bottom in after with some black eyeliner to give it a full effect, but you get the gist. I bring it right down into my tear duct. A lot of people don't. They stop, and that's okay too. Whatever you're most comfortable with. A lot of people can't take a full black line in the tear duct of their eye. It irritates a lot of people's eyes makeup, and that's fine too. It's all up to what your eyes like, right? So you go ahead and pull it out and make a nice little cat wing. And oftentimes I have to adjust because this one might be thicker than this one. That's fine. You just go back to the other one and you readjust until they both look symmetrical, just like that. As you can see, I got a little bit in the tear duct again. So I just go in with a little wet tissue or a little wet Q-tip and just clean it up. Liquid liner will spread when it comes in contact with the liquid in your eye. So oftentimes you have to clean up stuff when doing liquid liner. And there we go. Now, because I did a little cleanup underneath, I'll take my brush, and I won't put any more product on it because I already had the setting powder, bronzer in this case that I was using. I just go under and nice sweep. So it's nice and clear underneath. As you can see, I've got two matching cat eyes, just like that, pretty black. Now, what I use for underliner right now is Makeup Forever Aqua XL. It stays on in the water, and it is kind of expensive for an eyeliner. I think it's about $8, but like I said, my friend gets the Ipsy Glam bag, and she gives me this stuff like crazy. So I end up falling in love with this product. Makeup Forever, I can't say enough about their makeup. They're really excellent, although really expensive, and I would never buy it myself. But for now, because it was gifted, we're going to use it. So... sorry, I had a little bit of black matriculating there. There we go. Okay, so a lot of people don't line the bottom inside of their eyes because, like I said before, it irritates their eyes. Me, I've been doing makeup for so long, I actually pull and put it on that part that's actually goes almost into your eye like that. If you can't do that, underneath your lash line is fine. Just make sure it's not too thick and you be careful not to smudge. because if not, you're going to look like you have raccoon eyes. If you are fortunate enough to be able to put it under the juicy part of your eye like I'm putting it, then you're just one lucky blessed person. So just like that, my eyes are fully lined, as you can see, and ready for mascara. Now, before I put on mascara, I go back to my handy dandy eyebrow brush, and I like to rake and brush my eyelashes so everything is perfectly ready for mascara. And that way it helps reduce clumps when you do your mascara as well, because your eyelashes are nice and separated and freshly brushed. What I'm using for this, and I have like 15 or 20 mascaras, but the one I'm using for my daytime, which stays on really well, is L'Oreal Voluminous Superstar Red Carpet Black. And it's a duo mascara. I really like the duo mascaras because it's got a primer in it. So it says right on it, number 1 and number 2. So you go ahead with number 1 and it's white. And in all of them, I think the primers are white. And you go ahead and just apply the white to both lashes all the way out. And what it does is it stretches your lashes, it conditions them, and gets them ready for black mascara. Also, I find that it makes it really easy to get the mascara off the next day too, because it's like, it won't rip out your eyelashes like just raw mascara will. So I cannot recommend more a mascara with the duo with the primer as well. So now that we have the primer on, we're going to go to number 2, which is the black mascara. And this brush is a moon shape brush, which is super easy. So you just put it on just like the shape of the brush and the shape of your eye, the moon shape, and just go ahead and brush on the mascara. I like to go in as far as I can and then all the way to the tips. So I start in close to my eyeball and go all the way out to my tips. And do the same on the other side. Just like that. As you can see, eyes are now complete. So, lastly, the last thing that I like to do, of course, is my lipstick. And I'm just getting any little goopies out of the sides of my eyes, which happens because I have really big eyes. And oftentimes, like I'll get like a little, what we call eye boogers right in the middle. So I just go ahead and scoop them out as I go. Okay, so for lipstick, I have 100,000 lipsticks. I love to wear lipstick. If you guys have seen any of my pictures, you can see that I do tons of colors of lipstick. Right now, I am completely obsessed with this Maybelline Matte Ink Superstay lipstick. It's super awesome. It's about $8 a tube. It stays on forever. It goes matte. It doesn't spread. I can't say enough about this super cheap brand of lipstick. It's very, very good quality for the price that it is. So today I think I'm going to do with my natural look, trying to decide. Purple maybe? Yeah, we're going to go with purple. Burgundy, maybe? Yeah, no, purple. I think we'll do purple. So this is my daily struggle when you have 1,500 different colors of lipstick. What the hell shade am I going to do today? So I use a invisible lip liner. And this is so that you don't have to buy every single color of lipstick that you have to match the liner. And I super love this one. It's Rimmel Moisture Renew, and it's $6. And it goes with every shade, and if you're going to wear a colored lipstick, you definitely need an invisible or a colored liner, because if not, your lipstick will bleed, and you don't want that. So I overline my lips, because like I said before, my lips are kind of thin. So I overline them just slightly under my natural lip line. Just like that. And all the way up, and then the top. Just like that. You can't see it, but it's there. So next I'm going to do the lipstick, and I just use the brush. I follow the lines. The invisible liner will really help you, show you how and where to put the lipstick so it doesn't bleed out along past the line. Okay. So I just start with one coat on the bottom. One coat on the top. And then I put it on until I get it nice and thick into the shade that I want. So that's it. Just like that. As you can see, I have overlined, but you can't really notice it from afar. So a really good trick when you're using really dark lipstick is to do this while it's still wet before it dries. And as you can see, that's all the stuff that was going to go on your teeth. So that's before it dries. This lipstick, this mattifying lipstick, really takes about a minute or 30 seconds to really dry and set. So you really don't want to touch anything or have a cigarette or anything like that until it's set. And then it's going to go into a nice, beautiful matte color. So this is the finished product. As you can see, my before, not too pretty. Now, very, very nice. Just making sure I don't have any on my teeth. I'm going to zoom in so you guys can really see the full effect of the makeup. So I hope you guys enjoyed my video. I'll see you next time. Ciao.